beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. If you're something for the first time, you're welcome. My name is Isulona and I am a registered nurse, registered midwife, as well as a professional makeup artist. And over here we discuss everything pertaining to faith, health, nursing, as well as beauty. So if these are the kind of content you're looking out for, please subscribe, share, as well as like the video. Now today's video, we're going to be discussing relationship matters. Yes, I like to indulge, sometimes, and I am talking about relationship as a result of, we're in Valentine's season, love season, even though I believe that Valentine's season should not just be a season of celebrating people who are in a relationship. I feel those who are not in a relationship to celebrate yourself. You have to love yourself first before you fall in love with another person. But today's video, I decided to talk about the red flags we find in relationships, or how to identify a toxic relationship. And I'm talking about this so that you can know, am I in a toxic relationship or not? This relationship I want to celebrate today, that is Valentine's Day, is it worth celebrating? Okay, from this video we're gonna know all that. I know that when it comes to being in an unhealthy relationship, it can have a toll on the health of the people involved. It could lead to anxiety, depression, even emotional challenges, because you have to constantly be walking on eggshells trying to avoid conflicts or dramas that may ensue. And the challenge with being in an unhealthy relationship is that even after the relationship has ended, the effects of this relationship still lingers on, and it makes it difficult for us to, heal from it. That is why it's important to identify what are the red flags in relationship. Not just identifying it, also note, how do I work? If it's something I want to work on, what are those things I need to change or not change? What are the attitudes I have to start putting up? And if it's something I have to walk out of it. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about red flags or identifying toxic relationship and how to profile solutions to this challenge. Now, the first red flag that I want to talk about is having a controlling or manipulative partner. Yes. Now, how do I know that I have a controlling or manipulative partner? Individuals like this like to exert a range of tactics on their victims. And one of the signs they exhibit is that they usually love bomb you. It's very important, because initially I know that at the beginning of every relationship, whether it is toxic or not, there is this period of intense love that takes place. But for an individual who is manipulative, he or she is doing it so as to win you over completely. Like, they want to win your heart, right? So that by the time the red flags start picking out, you are too blind to notice it. That is why you notice that individuals that are in love, you cannot advise them. They will not listen to you. Now, another sign you're going to notice in a controlling partner or a manipulative partner is that such an individual will isolate you. Now, he or she is isolating you from your family, friends, and loved ones, and they could do this by subtly trying to tell you that your families or loved ones do not love you, they don't care about your relationship, they don't care about your happiness. And since you are already love blind, you might start thinking that what he or she is telling you is correct or is right, especially if such said families and friends have started noticing red flags in your relationship, and they've already started telling you that something is wrong. Remember, you're love blind and you so much love this person, you adore this person. You will not hear, you won't see. And the ways of isolation could involve preventing you from talking with family, friends, and loved ones on the phone, or refusing you from having access to the internet. All these are to make you isolated on your own and make you depend totally on them, making it also extremely difficult for you to seek help when challenges start coming in. Now, apart from that, there could be gaslighting. Yes, the person could even resist your access to finances. Now, whatever the case may be, whatever sign the person is exhibiting, it will lead to loss of autonomy, because now, remember, this person is now your alpha and omega. It's like he or she is like a demigod to you. You cannot make a single decision without the person. And apart from that, we could also have low self-esteem, because the person could start criticizing you, start belittling you. Now, what are my tips? My first tip would be to identify that there is a problem. If it means you documenting the problem, write it down, okay? And it's also important that you communicate with the person, because sometimes individuals that may seem controlling or manipulative in quotes are not doing it intentionally. Some of them, they have a faulty foundation when it comes to relationships, and so they feel like that is a norm and they carry it to their current relationship, and you are just there suffering. So communicate to the person that this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is what you're doing. Remember, you're written it down. Let the person know, show the person evidence that this is what you did and I don't like. Look at how it came off to me or rubbed off on me. Also important is for you to seek help. All right, it could be through therapy for both of you, the controlling partner and the victim. You could seek help through therapy from loved ones or from the church, just to ensure that you both get better. Now, ensure that you communicate clearly to the person your boundaries, what you can take and what you cannot take, okay, so that the person knows what to avoid and what not to avoid. Then, even as you are doing all this, get a safety plan. Yes, get a safety plan, just in case that person, that is how he or she is, he's actually controlling or manipulative in nature. Get a safety plan so that if it gets to a point where you cannot take it anymore, you bounce, you walk out, all right? I mean, you deserve the best. All right, so next one I want to talk about is emotional or verbal abuse. Now, this could be very subtle, and I say it's subtle because, I mean, it's not physical abuse, which is very obvious. This one, it's usually very subtle. The person is using words or gestures to just inflict emotional harm on you, okay? It could be like insults, it could be criticism. I mean, you're never good, you can't cook, you can't clean, you can't wash, you don't have educational background, you don't have money, you're poor, you're broke, your family is nothing. All those kind of things. It could even involve public shame, public embarrassment. Whatever the case is, it is going to affect you emotionally. It's definitely going to lead to depression. It's going to even sometimes lead to the use of drugs, substance abuse, just as a way of escape from such a situation. Now, if you're in such a situation, definitely this when it comes to emotional or verbal abuse, it most times we are already far gone. Like I said, it's subtle. We're already far gone in such a situation before we notice that this is not normal. So you have to first identify that this is not normal. It is absolutely abnormal that everything you do, someone is criticizing you outside, the person embarrassing you, bring it no, it's not normal, okay? So you have to identify that this is not normal, it's a problem. Communicate to the person just to give the person room for change. Set clear boundaries, what you like, what you don't like. Also both of you have to look for ways to get better. You have to look for ways to heal, and the other person has to look for ways to get better in terms of stopping that kind of attitude. Do you understand? If it involves you going for therapy or going to seek help from loved ones, that's fine. But you also have to have someone whom you are accountable to, so that such incidences do not repeat themselves again. Have someone you're accountable to. Every relationship, you need someone, that at least one person that both parties are accountable to. And also, you have to know when it's time to leave. I mean, there's only so much you can take. You have to know when it's time to leave. You don't wait till when the person has drained you, made you feel completely useless before you leave. The more you stay, the longer you stay, the more difficult it is to come out and difficult it is for you to heal. Now, my next red flag that I'm talking about would be lack of boundaries. Now, every relationship, whether it is a new relationship or an old relationship, they thrive off boundaries, okay? It is important that every individual should have boundaries, and these boundaries are just limits or rules that individuals in relationships set, and they are personal, to protect my physical, my emotional, my mental well-being. I set boundaries, you set boundaries in a relationship, and the boundaries might not be exactly the same. What is a boundary to you might not be my boundary. Okay, it's important that your boundaries are respected, my boundaries are respected in a relationship. Now, in a situation whereby you're in a relationship with someone and you have boundaries you have boundaries that have been set up, and these boundaries are constantly being disrespected, that is a red flag, especially when it is intentionally done. That is, I know your boundaries and I am intentionally disrespecting them. That is a red flag. Now, what are the tips? First and foremost, I would say, as individuals, if you have values, limits, that should not be breached, okay, and then communicate it to your other partner. The reason why I say so is, if you don't have any boundary, if you don't have any limits as an individual, you don't have any rules or anything guiding you as a person, what are you going to communicate? Nothing, okay? And anything can go wrong. Anything can go wrong. All right. So have boundaries, communicate them clearly. Don't mince word. Communicate them clearly. And also, it's important to respect the other person's boundaries. If you don't respect the other person's boundaries, the person is not going to respect your boundaries. Okay, I mean, you cannot be breaching someone's boundaries, constantly disrespecting the person, and I expect that when it comes to you, the person should respect you. No, things are not done that way. Now, also, it's important that you ensure that for every boundary that is breached, there is a consequence, especially when it is being intentionally done over and over again. There should be a consequence. So by the time when this boundary I set up has been breached intentionally by the other partner, and you exact the consequence, the person might not like the consequence, and the person might feel, oh, that really means that he or she doesn't like this thing. Okay, she doesn't like this thing I've done, I won't do it again just because of consequences. Some persons are like that. Okay, and finally, have people that you're accountable to. Very important. Okay, it's very important. If it has to be an auntie, an uncle, someone who is neutral, who wants that relationship to work, have someone that you can talk to and say, uncle, auntie, this person is acting up, please, we need help. Right, so the next red flag I want to talk about is physical abuse. I have talked about emotional abuse previously. Let's look at physical abuse. Now, physical abuse simply refers to any intentional contact that could cause harm or inflict pain, physical pain on an individual, and this could go on to lead to depression. It could lead to isolation, that is on the part of the victim. It could lead to the victim isolating himself or herself. It could lead to depression and a whole lot of things. My advice when it comes to things like this is run. I know when it comes to this, I feel it's important that you run. And the reason I say so is for someone to hit you because you have done something wrong, which to me is very extreme, that person has the capability of doing it again. And I know that it's very possible that the person doesn't do it again. But this life, we have just one life, okay? You don't have that liberty of saying, okay, let me stay. She might not do it again, or he might not do it again, because the next time might be your last time, okay? From there, you can be called to grow. Please, you are too important, okay? That is why I say one. Also important is seek therapy. Therapy is important for the person who has exerted such action. You need therapy, you need deliverance as far as I'm concerned. But for the person also who is the victim, it's important that you seek therapy so as to heal. Trauma, you need to heal from it. That is why you see there are women and men who believe that, oh, all men are scum, or all men are cheat, all women are like this, all women like money, or whatever the case may be. That's because they've not been able to heal from their past bad experience. Okay, so once you're not able to heal from it, it's difficult for you to move on. You go on to the next relationship having that kind of mindset that every person is like the person you just met, which is not true. That's just you generalizing things. It's not true. So heal from it. That's the only way you can move on. All right. And also important, seek help, support from families and friends. And if it requires you going to the local authorities, go there. Because for me, physical violence is not, it's not, physical abuse is not acceptable at all, at all. It's a no. Finally, we have infidelity, and by infidelity I simply mean cheating. It could be emotional, it could be virtual, it could be physical, whatever the case is. For me, cheating is cheating as far as I'm concerned. And how do I know that I have a cheating partner? The person becomes emotionally withdrawn. The person would usually become secretive. I mean, you are saying passwords in places where there were no passwords before. The person is hiding things, hiding phones, hiding account number, hiding text messages, whatever it is. The person might be cheating. The person becomes inconsistent with schedules. I mean, you planned to meet up somewhere, and all of a sudden, last minute, the person cancels on you and start giving excuses. It's normal in individuals who are cheating. And for me, when it comes to situations like this, it's important that you note that it could go on to lead to trauma, emotional trauma, especially depression, because you have to catch the person cheating on you. Okay, so there's usually this period of depression. What am I doing wrong? What is going on in my relationship? Especially when you have not found out when the person that person is cheating on you. Before finding out, depression, anxiety will always kill you. Also, there is lack of trust. Once you found out the person is cheating on you, the trust there is broken. And for me, what's a relationship without trust? That is why it's important that if you are in this kind of situation, you seek help. You seek help in form of therapy. Therapy here is very, very important, because you who has been cheated on, you need to heal. If you are continuing in that relationship, you need to heal. Even if you are not continuing in that relationship, you are moving forward, you also need to heal. But for someone who is continuing in that relationship, you will have to heal, because you have to let go of the past. The thing has happened, the person has changed, he or she has said he will start acting right, so you have to give the person the benefit of the doubt. Right? So you need to heal. This is work, like healing from trauma, especially when it comes to heartbreak. That's in terms of cheating or physical abuse. It's really hard work. And for the person who has carried out the act, you need therapy too, because it is absolutely wrong to cheat. For me, as far as I'm concerned, you don't have any excuse to cheat on someone, so you need to go for therapy so that you don't do that again. Self-reflect. You who has cheated, please self-reflect on yourself. This is what I did wrong. This is where I missed it. This was the mistake that made me to go off course. You have to identify, do that let there be a period of self-reflection where you look at, oh, this was where I missed it too, and then I went off track, so that you don't go back to doing that again. Avoid anything that will lead to anything that will cause you to carry out that act again. And it's important that you forgive yourself. There has to be forgiveness. You who has cheated, forgive yourself. Whether or not you're continuing in that relationship, forgive yourself, because if you don't forgive yourself, you will not move on. And the person who has been cheated on, you are continuing in that relationship. Part of therapy involves you forgiving the person. Yes, you have to forgive the person and believe that it's a one-time and it has happened, it will not happen again. All this is if you're continuing in a relationship. Remember, the people who, once you cheat, they're out. So whatever the case may be, therapy is very important, whether you're staying or you're leaving the relationship, as far as I am concerned. And also, it's important to note, especially for the person who has cheated, that it takes time to build trust. Once trust is broken, it's difficult to build. It will take time, and every person's healing time differs. So you have to give your partner the grace, the time to forgive you and come back to that level of trust again. All right, it's going to be difficult. Like I said, this is work, but you have to give your partner that grace. I mean, you have messed up, In as much as you're forgiving yourself, give that partner time to forgive you. And with that, we've come to the end of this video. I hope you've been able to learn from it. For those persons who are in relationships, please take note of these red flags, take note of the solutions, take note of the tips, take note of the signs. They are all very important. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Recommendations as well, please let me know in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Until I see you next time, bye, lovelies, and God bless you. Happy Valentine's.
Say it again, say it again, say it again. Tell me the world won't interfere. Say it again.